Hi, I'm Evie Kim Sing, editor of identityweek.net. We're here at the Suntech Convention Centre for Identity Week Asia. I'm joined now by Simon Callaghan, who's the CEO of Blockchain Australia. It's really nice to meet you, Simon. What are the barriers to adopting blockchain as a modern authentication method? It's obviously innovating our future. What are those barriers currently?
I think when blockchain first evolved, when it first came out, it was one of those new and innovative and exciting technologies, and but it's not a panacea for everything. And I think some of those early evangelists in riding the hype cycle of a new technology perhaps thought it might be an answer to everything. It's not. It has great potential, and there's a number of awesome use cases. I think in terms of its use as an authentication technology, it has got amazing potential, obviously, in the financial services sector. We're going to see real-world asset tokenization. That's largely going to be based upon stablecoins and central bank digital currencies. So that has transformative potential for how the technology infrastructure of the financial services industry runs. So there's great potential there. Other areas like supply chain management, from things like verification, how do you verify a document, a university degree, for example? How do I verify title ownership and property? So I think there are opportunities, but I think some of the limitations are around the way in which the technology was first put into the public sphere, where I think some of those early evangelists maybe thought it was an answer to everything and everything will move to the blockchain. I don't think everything will move to the blockchain, but it does have great potential.
And you mentioned finance as one of those use cases. Are digital currency exchanges more high risk to manage with blockchain?
I think digital currency exchanges are high risk, not necessarily because of blockchain, but just the same as any other financial services product, where there's cybersecurity is a massive issue in today's world around identity, but also around financial resources. I think the fact that DCEs, digital currency exchanges, hold such vast amounts of resources, they're always going to be a target for cyber threats and scammers. So I don't think it comes from the technology itself. And a lot of the security breaches that have occurred around blockchain has come around cross chain bridges. So it's not the blockchain itself that is the security concern or where the breach occurs. It's the bridge from one type of blockchain to another, where they're looking to create interoperability between two different types of blockchain. So it's not actually the blockchain itself that creates the opportunity for cyber threats, but I think it's more the fact that there's financial resources being held on digital currency exchanges. That's what makes them a target in the first place.
Just want to touch on the opportunities of blockchain. What role is it playing in the emergence of Web 3?
Yeah, I think it plays an important role. Again, going back to how do we verify? How do you prove your identity? I think blockchain is a good way to do that. You have private keys. The distributed nature and the decentralized nature of the technology itself is actually a security tool. And I just think principally the ethos behind the creation of Bitcoin and the emergence of blockchain as a technology I think that aligns quite well to the emergence of Web3 and placing some of that the rewards and the power around data and identity and information back on the participant. So you owning your own identity and your own data as opposed to a large multinational company owning your data. So I think that has great potential, and you having control over where and how that data is shared.
Why is blockchain enabling scammers? Is there an inherent vulnerability in the technology?
I don't think it's blockchain. I'd have to disagree. I don't think it's blockchain technology itself that is enabling scammers. I actually sit on the advisory board for the National Anti-Scam Centre in Australia, within the ACCC. What I would see is most scams occur online, but most scams are occurring on social media, whether it's Facebook or WhatsApp or Instagram, or on Google Ads. There's also email and text message. So that's actually, I think, where the scam occurs. It's where the victims psychologically are brought into the scam itself. How it then proliferates is largely through those technologies. Crypto is an endpoint, so it tends to then, once the victim is scammed online and brought in and tricked, whether it be through a love interest or an investment opportunity or a job opportunity. Those are three common areas that we're seeing in Australia. And then they'll be asked to transfer money into a bank account, like a traditional financial system. From there, it tends to be converted to cryptocurrencies because the scammers tend not to be located within Australia. And one of the benefits of blockchain technology and cryptocurrency as a whole is that it's fast and that it's cheap in terms of and it can move large amounts of funds. So I think that's the endpoint of the scam life cycle, but it tends to be used as an endpoint because of those benefits around it's cheap and it's fast. It's pseudo-anonymous. It's not completely anonymous. And there is regulation occurring, certainly in Australia. The KYC requirements placed upon digital currency exchanges and custodians are likely to be more rigorous. So it's not so much that blockchain technology itself or digital currency exchanges are a focus for scams. It's that the technology, because it's cheap and it's fast, and it's global, and enables scammers to then move and transfer large amounts of financial resources.
Thank you for explaining that. This is a really interesting area. Have you got a session at Identity Week you're going to be talking in?
Yeah, I actually just presented a keynote earlier looking at how decentralization and blockchain can be used to the benefits as well as the utility of blockchain as an identity tool. So yeah, I just presented earlier.
What are the opportunities with blockchain for Web3?
I think around the decentralized nature, it has benefits from an identity perspective, from verification of documents, things like land title. How do you prove that you own this piece of property or this house? There's verification around things such as university degrees. How does an employer verify that you have the degree that you say you do? They could contact the university, but if that is on chain, they can easily just verify on chain without having to contact the university and taking up further resources. And I think there's potential in leveraging. I think the philosophy. I think the philosophy of blockchain technology and the decentralized nature marries well with Web3 and empowering individuals as opposed to having centralized sources of truth. Enables individuals to own their own data, to determine who can use that data, how that data is used, and should enable the individual user to see some of the economic benefit of how that data about them is used. So that's, I think, transformative and a huge benefit to individuals.
And it can be to the benefit of the individual, as you were saying, but how can it be leveraged by scammers in a negative way? With blockchain and cryptocurrencies, how can it enable financial crime? And
financial crime is a large problem globally, and cryptocurrency is used as an endpoint within that scam life cycle. I think the speed and the speed and the speed and the cost effectiveness of cryptocurrency as a transaction tool for financial services, while that's a huge benefit and it can be leveraged for good, it can also be used as a negative too. So if there's someone scamming on the in the other side in Russia or Tel Aviv, they can be setting up a scam center, contacting Australian citizens and leveraging crypto to send almost instantaneously, very, very cheaply, large sums of money. So that's I think how it's currently being used, and that is obviously a threat to consumers that needs to be better managed. And certainly in Australia, we're looking to increase regulation for digital currency exchanges to protect consumers. It's a fine balance in terms of innovation, but ultimately protecting consumers is a good thing. And it's not the blockchain technology itself that's the problem. And I think the scams occur way further up the life cycle, where they're occurring online and largely through social media and emails, text messages. But certainly in Australia, our digital currency exchanges are working hard to address how they're being used by international scammers to leave funds from Australia overseas.
thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Evie. Cheers.